OIC as its primary constituency. The OIC priorities are Pakistan's priorities. We are collectively facing a major challenge in the Middle East. The Gaza war has had catastrophic consequences for the Palestinian people. We should work collectively to preserve the interests of Palestine and the principles and objectives of the Arab and the Muslim Ummah. Pakistan supports the pursuit of diplomacy to preserve the Gaza ceasefire agreement and the negotiation and the implementation of its second and third phases. Excellencies, we must dissuade Israel and its supporters from reviving the war in Gaza and ensure adequate humanitarian assistance to the people of Gaza, including by preserving the essential role of UNRWA. We must rigorously oppose proposal for the expulsion of the Palestinians from their homeland. Simultaneously, we should take steps to end Israel's campaign of violence and displacement in the West Bank. We should clarify our common position of opposition to the plans of Israeli extremists to annex the West Bank. We must initiate concrete steps to secure the two-state solution. We should endorse the important statement issued by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia insisting on the establishment of a Palestinian state as an indispensable precondition for normalization in the entire region. To this end, OIC should work collectively to secure global recognition of the State of Palestine and press for its full membership of the United Nations. We must make the two-state solution a politically inevitably. Colleagues, Pakistan welcomes the agreement brokered by France and the United States last November, which led to an agreement for cessation of hostilities in Lebanon. However, Israel's continued military actions in South Lebanon violate this agreement and threaten to reignite conflict. Excellencies, we must demand the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from southern Lebanon within the agreed time framework and urge full compliance with international commitments. Pakistan congratulates President Joseph Aoun and Prime Minister Nawaz Salam on assuming office and hopes that Lebanon will move towards peace, stability, and prosperity under their leadership. Pakistan supports the stabilization of Syria through an inclusive, Syria-owned and Syrian-led political process facilitated by the United Nations. Terrorism must not be allowed to re-emerge in or from Syria. We must uphold Syria's unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Israel must withdraw immediately from the separation zone established under the 1974 disengagement agreement. It must also withdraw from the occupied Syrian Golan Heights in accordance with the Security Council resolutions. Excellencies, Pakistan remains deeply concerned about Yemen's protracted conflict, which has caused economic collapse and a severe humanitarian crisis. We believe a diplomatic and political resolution is essential, and we urge all parties to prioritize dialogue, engage in a Yemeni-led process, and seek peaceful solution. Pakistan fully supports UN and regional efforts, particularly by Saudi Arabia and Oman, to achieve a political settlement based on agreed frameworks. We remain concerned by reported Israeli threats to conduct further attacks against Iran. This will create a grave threat to regional and international peace and security. Despite the hostile rhetoric, it is our hope that all people will seek to revive the JCPOA on equitable terms. This should contribute significantly to realizing durable peace and security across the Middle East. Excellencies, dear brothers and sisters, the principles of self-determination and the non-acquisition of territory by the use of threat of use of force or any use of force are fundamental for the maintenance of world order. Respect for these principles is critical to realize just solutions for Palestine as well as for the Jammu and Kashmir dispute. In both cases, implementation of these principles is essential to end foreign occupation and realize freedom. The situation in occupied Jammu and Kashmir is a grave one, with the continuing oppression of its people by the 900,000 Indian occupation forces. The sufferings of Kashmiris are being hidden from sight due to the complete information blackout imposed by India. Like Israel in Palestine, India is seeking to brutally surpass the Kashmiris and bring in settlers from all over India to transform occupied Kashmir from a Muslim majority to a Hindu majority territory. Moreover, with the aggressive statements being issued from India against Pakistan, including threats to cross the line of control and take over Azad Kashmir, the danger of another India-Pakistan conflict cannot be discounted. Excellencies, brothers and sisters, Pakistan will take steps to highlight the situation in Kashmir within the Security Council, as well as we have sought the good offices of the UN Secretary General to promote a dialogue designed to secure a settlement of the Kashmir dispute in accordance with the UN Charter, the relevant resolutions of the Security Council, and the wishes of the Kashmiri people. We hope the Secretary General will not be deterred from utilizing his commendable authority under the Charter to promote a just and peaceful solution to the Kashmir dispute in accordance with the UN Charter and Security Council resolutions and the wishes of Kashmiri people. Excellencies, brothers and sisters, Pakistan is also concerned by the renewed threat of terrorism from Afghanistan. We are facing daily attacks by the TTP, Fitna al-Khawarij, from its safe havens in Afghanistan. Pakistan will take all necessary steps to put an end to these terrorist attacks. Some Afghans in Pakistan are present illegally or as refugees have participated, unfortunately, in terrorist and criminal activities. It is therefore essential for Pakistan to repatriate them to their country, Afghanistan. At the same time, we are cognizant of the poverty and sufferings of millions of the Afghan people. We are doing all possible to facilitate humanitarian assistance for the 20 million destitute people in Afghanistan. We support Afghanistan's economic revival through the release of the frozen resources and implementation of the connectivity projects between Central Asia and Pakistan through Afghanistan. Pakistan believes that the international community should adopt a comprehensive strategy outlining a roadmap of actions to be taken by the Afghan interim government, including counterterrorism and respect for the rights of women and girls, and those reciprocal steps which the international community can take to promote Afghanistan's economic and social development and the normalization of its relations with the international community. Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, a number of other African issues of interest to the OIC are under consideration in the Security Council, including Libya, Sudan, Sahel, and Somalia. Pakistan will work with other OIC and African countries to promote effective solutions to these situations where the challenges of international terrorism, organized crime, external intervention, and the exploitation of national resources are all intertwined. For the OIC and for the majority of UN member states, the UN remains an indispensable platform and modality for international cooperation to promote security, peace, and development. The OIC must be adequately represented in all the main organs of the UN, especially to the Security Council. The OIC Group in New York must assume a leadership role in securing the equitable reform of the Security Council, the revitalization of the UN General Assembly, and the reform of the unequal international financial system. Excellencies, Islamophobia remains a persistent and alarming challenge, demanding urgent actions on our part. Pakistan urges the OIC Group in New York to strengthen its unified call to the Secretary General for the swift appointment of the UN Special Envoy, as any other option is not available, and further delay beyond 15th of March 2025 would undermine the objectives of the Resolution 78/264. The OIC Group must also remain actively engaged in formulation of the Secretary General's action plan to combat Islamophobia, ensuring sustained progress and impact. I can share with you that last year we were lucky and happy on the OIC summit in Banjul, Gambia. We were able to influence and convince our brothers and members of OIC to appoint a full-time special envoy on Islamophobia to the Secretary General of OIC. And eventually it was carried, and former ambassador to Pakistan has already been appointed as the special envoy of OIC Secretary General on Islamophobia. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to benefiting from your great views and guidance, especially on the issues of direct interest to the OIC and the agenda of the Security Council. I thank you for your patience hearing. Thank you.
नायब वज़ीर आज़म इशाक़ डार का न्यूयॉर्क में OIC ग्रुप मीटिंग से खिताब। पाकिस्तान OIC को अपना बुनियादी हल्का समझता है। OIC की तरजीहात पाकिस्तान की तरजीहात हैं। हमें